Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist from the Telegraph from Bhopal. Prasenjit Bose, left-leaning economist. Pawan Verma represents the JDU perspective. Lord Meghnad Desai from Goa. He's no fan of the food security bill. Piyush Goyal, national treasurer and member of the Rajya Sabha of the BJP. Bhakta Charan Das, my opening question is to you. Sir, look at the situation that is happening. Bhakta Charan Das, national spokesperson and member of parliament of the Congress. Sir, you don't have the money for this scheme. So you must let your politics and your ego aside, Mr. Das, and bite the bullet. That as of now, it will be extremely irresponsible of the Congress party in the given economic situation to push for the food security bill. There is a time for everything, and this is not that time.
Mr. Arnav, I hail from Kalahandi, and I think you know about in 80s what happened in Kalahandi. There are many districts and states where extreme malnutrition situations are there and extreme poverty are there, and that has to be addressed. If the food security bill is implemented, 81 crore population of the nation would be benefited out of that. And that is much more urgent than empowering the human being, which our late beloved leader Rajiv Gandhi ji used to say. And the government has done its best for that. People may criticize in their own manner, but food security bill at this juncture, it does not involve much money. Earlier, under midday meal program and many more programs going on, there was more than 85 crore rupees involved in that, 85,000 crore, and requirement would be around 45,000 crore rupees. So it is not going to be a much big thing because it involves 81 crore population.
Sir, I think you've got your numbers wrong, with great respect. Because the expenditure behind the food security bill is stated to be 120,000 crores. And the Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices feels this is just the beginning. And it is estimated that the total financial expenditure entailed will be over 682,163 crores over a 3-year period. So I'd request you, Mr. Bhakta Charan Das, just in order to make your argument appealing, you should not play around with the facts. Please don't mind by saying so, but I'm asking you today a simple question, which the entire middle class of this country is asking. And Piyush Goyal, I'm coming right to you to counter. Now I want you to tell the people watching Newshour tonight, okay, the middle classes of the country, the hard-working middle classes, salaried classes, hard-working entrepreneurs, men and women who also deserve to have a good life. Why should their EMIs go up? They lose their jobs. Inflation has gone through the roof. Petrol prices are going up every day. Investment is going down. Jobs are being lost by the hundreds and the thousands. Why they should not ask you, where are you going to find the money to do this? Where is the money? Mr. Das. Mr. Das, tell that middle class person why you are still insisting.
The middle class people are there, and government has addressed their program for last several years. That is why the number of middle class has increased in these decades together. But what has happened to the poor class people? Those who are yet to get the share of the
Well, I thought you said that you removed poverty in the UPA years of the UPA2 government. I thought, as per your numbers, you said you removed poverty in this
I don't believe in removing poverty. Only the expenditure capacity, the spending capacity of the people in the rural areas has increased to some extent. That is whatever, maybe 27 or something like that.
Sir, I throw the ball into the BJP's court to counter you, but I just want to tell you this, that this food security bill, when implemented, not just minimum support prices, inflation will go up. It will spiral out of control. Your deficit's going to go up. You're going to have to be responsible at some time. First counter on the debate from the BJP to the Congress from Piyush Goyal.
Mr. Arnav, the nation has to bear that.
Well, the nation has to bear it when it has the money. You can't tear someone's pocket and pick someone's pocket and then say pay up. There has to...
The nation has enough money to meet the need of the poorest.
Well, certainly the nation does. If the Colgate scam didn't happen and other scams didn't happen, today a comparison will be drawn to that. Piyush Goyal is responding to you. Piyush Goyal to Bhakta Charan Das.
I think, Arnab, this government is completely tied up in knots, and their different spokespersons don't know what the other is saying. So I hope they quickly run a class for all these spokespersons. This is the third channel I'm discussing this subject today. Everybody is speaking in different voices. Now our respected Bhakta Charanji, who's a very dear friend, tells us that only 40,000 crores is required, which means at the outset this government is making a complete fool of the poor people of India, because that only means they are repackaging the existing schemes and calling it a new food security bill and promising the poor people that we'll give you food, whereas the reality is, as Mr. Narendra Modi rightly pointed out, that in fact the poor, the BPL families were getting 35 kilograms of food grain, which is now sought to be reduced to 25 kilograms, which means they have to buy the balance in open market prices, which are only expected to go up, not only because of the spiraling double-digit inflation given by this government in the last 7-8 years, but also because when food grain will have to be imported to meet these needs, and the corruption that one can expect them to indulge in when they implement this program, I wonder where the food grain prices and where inflation will go. In that respect, the country today, nobody can deny, wants to support the poor. But I have never seen a scheme where the number is decided first, 81 crores. So in Delhi, they have decided 71 lakh people will get it.
So
and now they are fixing eligibility criteria. Have you seen the Delhi eligibility criteria? It's completely not. One can't understand how they have drawn it up. Somehow they want to reach 200, 200, and say we are giving you something.
Let's go to basics. You know, I know in some sections, I know in some sections nowadays, it is politically correct to speak in favor of the food bill. As if you don't support the food bill, you are anti-poor. In that case, the entire country... No, 1 second. No, I'm saying in some circles. I don't believe in that. But there are some circles which are creating a guilt complex. Aren't you for the food bill? That means you are anti-poor. That means you are not for the poor people of India. We are with the poor people of India. I am asking the Congress representative tonight, sir. No. I am asking the Congress representative. 207,000 crore rupees will be lost to middlemen. Now, I know that $30 billion was lost in Colgate and you can't find the files. But nevertheless, these are big numbers, sir.
You may give whatever argument, and
200,000 crore rupees will be lost to middlemen.
That is not a matter. Only it is a legal thing unless and until it has been proved in the court of law. You cannot say like that.
So
but the middlemen of the nation, they are the people of the nation. They have always
tell the middle class person
of the nation, and they have got the capacity.
Tell the middle class person.
Got the capacity to deliver to the people.
Sir, you are saying today. I put this question, and I'm going to open the phone lines now, because I think that
you cannot alienate the poor man from the middleman from the poor man.
Sir, we are not talking only of the super rich.
Middleman, poor man together, they make the nation.
I give you an example. Okay, and this question goes to Pawan Verma. Then I'm coming to you, Meghnad Desai. Opening this up. I'm sorry. I put this question to you, Pawan Verma. There is somebody, hardworking person, who goes to the market and says onions are being sold at 80 rupees a kilo, right? Now, this government is the government telling the people, these people, that be ready tomorrow, onions may go to 80, 90, 100 rupees a kilo, because there will be so much, demand. Minimum support prices will go up for cereal, vegetable prices will go up, is seen to be a certainty. Tomorrow, Pawan Verma, tell me, are you going to prepare people for onion at 100 rupees a kilo just because you are supporting the food bill and you want to be on the right side of the Congress now?
I just want to say, Arnab, that the goal of food security is a laudable goal. The fact that this country is still struggling to achieve it is in itself a commentary on the kind of governance we've had over 6 decades and more.
Yes.
But I do agree that the modalities to achieve that goal need to be further reviewed and considered. If we are using the same defunct PDS system, and if we are using the Food Corporation of India, which the Supreme Court commissioners called as genocidal, then obviously we have to ensure that the scheme actually reaches the intended beneficiaries, who have to be identified properly.
No, where will it?
My problem is that
why the hurry?
Therefore, if not implemented, therefore, I agree with you. In fact, I want to say to you, Arnab, that the issue today you are raising on your program is of fundamental importance, and we should take it beyond necessarily just the food security bill. You are raising an issue which is the functioning of democracy compatible with the imperatives of governance? It's become an issue before our young republic. Because when you have unstable coalitions and precarious majorities, there is a tendency to resort mechanically to populist.
So you are accusing the Congress. You are accusing the Congress of this vague populism.
Arnab, please rescue this discussion from partisan politics for a moment.
So, but the food bill is all about politics.
This is a problem before the republic.
This is all about
as regards the food bill, I believe, as regards the food bill, I believe the modalities need to be further considered. I believe the food bill would have benefited by a discussion in Parliament. I believe also that the experience of the states should have been factored in order to make the food security bill more effective.
I take your point, but Meghnad Desai, come to you, Prasenjit Bose and Rashid Kidwai coming to you. I'm giving long opening remarks on Newshour Tonight, and then we open this up. We have enough time. And dear viewers, you can call in. The number is on your screen. I want our political leaders and economists here to hear your voice as well. I'm sure they'd like to. Bhakta Charan Das, I'm sure you'll appreciate taking a few calls from viewers. Now, Meghnad Desai, the argument Bhakta Charan Das makes is that the middle class of India has benefited over several years. In other words, what he's not saying is it's time they take a little bit of a hit. Do you agree with this view? Do you agree with this view?
Well, I think the entire policy of UPA 2 has been based on the presumption that the urban middle class no longer needs any favors at all. They have had it so good, thanks to liberal reform, that they can pay the price, and there has to be massive redistribution to the poor people. Now, what I want to say that even if you wanted to do that, food security is not the right approach. If you want to relieve poverty, it is income security that you have to establish. Generate jobs in the countryside and in the urban areas. Excellent. Give people stable incomes. Don't just give them food because you're creating a dependency. And of course, as Pawan said,
this has been my line, Arnab, for the last 5 years.
Expenditure is wasted. 40% expenditure is wasted because of the PDS system, which nobody is reforming.
I think
that is a 40% tax on the poor.
No, I think there's
the 40% I think
this is the tragic part of the debate, Bhakta Charan Das, that today you say, Prasenjit Bose, I'm coming to you next. Today the Congress party says the middle class has benefited a lot and they shouldn't be complaining. Now, is the middle class benefiting? I don't think so. The middle class will pay more EMIs. The middle class will pay more for vegetable prices. The middle class is paying more for education. The middle class is losing jobs.
Arnab, you are trying to divert the attention.
No, sir, I am not.
I have never said like that. I have only said that the middle class, those who have got the benefit of the sovereign nation, has stood by the needy people of the nation.
Sir, why don't you also do something for the middle class?
The middle, they go together.
Bhakta Charan Das, you are well versed in economics. I throw a challenge to you on Newshour Tonight. I'm throwing a challenge to you, sir.
For the middle class, the nation has not done anything.
Sir, I throw a challenge. Sir, don't forsake the middle class so soon, because Bhakta Charan Das, the middle class are the levers and the powers behind your economy. And you ask any economist, there is a direct link between private final consumption expenditure and GDP and factor cost. In other words, if the middle class stops consuming, your GDP will also go down. You are not realizing that. You can give any number of SOPs. You can give any number of sops.
What I am saying, that
the economy will come to a standstill if you forsake the middle class.
They have stood by the poorest.
Sir, they have stood by the poorest. The middle class are bleeding today. The middle class don't have jobs. They are being hit the most, and you are forsaking them for your politics.
When the nation and the whole world is facing problem, and the nation is facing problem, means the middle class.
Sir, there are times for this. There are times for this. Prasenjit Bose come into the debate right now. Prasenjit Bose, Bhakta Charan Das, I'll take calls as well. Prasenjit Bose, do you think this is the right time to do something like this?
I need a short intervention.
After Prasenjit, sir, after Prasenjit, I'm going to come to you. This is going to be an open debate round now. I'm extending this debate. Prasenjit Bose.
No, Arnav, I want to make 3 quick points. Number 1 is that I think that the entire debate on food security and the state of food insecurity in our country has got vitiated because of the cynical manner in which a discredited and thoroughly corrupted government is now trying to salvage the situation by using this food security bill on the eve of the elections. But I think that the way, so therefore it is getting unduly politicized, you know, in this very peculiar manner. But having said so, I would like to completely disagree with what Lord Desai said, that the UPA government has actually been, you know, benefiting the poor through redistributive policies. It is the UPA 1, and you compare in the UPA 1, the Rural Employment Guarantee Act was passed on the 2nd year of the government. This government is trying to pass the food security bill just 6 months to 7 months before the election campaign starts. That is the big difference. This government has done absolutely nothing for the poor. That is the big problem. The third point which I want to make is that this way you are pitting this whole thing, that this food security is for the poor, the middle class is going to bleed.
Why not?
I think is very far-fetched and
why not?
Totally oversimplified.
Why not? Why not? Because you don't want to look at it.
Please hear me out.
No, why
please
not?
Hear me out.
Why is the middle class feeling the pinch? You don't agree? No, you don't agree. The middle class feels the pinch. Tell me, Prasenjit Bose, when the RBI keeps the interest rates high, who is hit the most? Who is hit the most? Whose cost of borrowing increases? Has our per capita income stagnated? Are people buying cars anymore? Are people losing jobs?
Number 1.
No, why don't you want to accept the reality?
I don't think first of all that there is any contradiction between spending more for the poor and doing much more for the economy through
certainly there is
jobs and, you know, providing jobs to middle class.
Certainly there is.
There is absolutely no contradiction.
Certainly there is.
In economic terms, there is no contradiction.
Sir, certainly there is. Then you are not sure. No. Then I contest your economic terms. Then I contest your economics. I contest your economics. Then Prasenjit Bose. No, our domestic consumption has fallen. I contest your economics.
Allowing me to make this argument.
No, I am contesting your economics.
Wait. This is no way to have a debate.
No,
allow me to make
Prasenjit Bose, household consumption spending. No, you are ignoring the middle class. You are taking an anti-middle class position. I am asking you today, are you aware household consumption spending has fallen down?
You please hear me out for 2 minutes. Have some patience. Have some patience and hear me out for 2 minutes.
I have heard you. I give you 30 more seconds. Yes.
First of all, this food security bill is going to cost 1,20,000 crore. Already the government spends over 80,000 crore in on food subsidy. It has been spending so for the past 3-4 years. So it is an additional expenditure of 40,000 crore. An additional expenditure of 40,000 crore is 0.5% of your GDP. It doesn't take much to finance that additional amount. Actually, the BJP is in a way right.
Okay, tell me, how do you finance it? Give me some ideas. How do you finance it?
Schemes.
Give me some.
So don't make this entire thing about.
Meghnad Desai raises his hand.
Money is going to be spent.
Meghnad Desai raises his hand. He's countering you. Meghnad Desai is countering Prasenjit Bose.
Yeah. Now listen. Chidambaran in the budget allowed only 5,000 crores for food security. If you're going to spend 45,000 crores, that means the deficit is going to get worse. Unless you say, where are you going to cut something else so the deficit is not worse? If the deficit gets worse, the rupee will fall further and you will have more
Consider
inflation.
this fact.
Is the government prepared to do that?
Consider this fact. Rashid Kidwai.
You know, this is all
Rashid Kidwai, consider this fact, this question.
I don't know where all these connections are coming from.
Well, you know, you don't want to draw the connections. That's the problem, Prasenjit. You don't want to draw the connections. I am drawing the connections.
In the budget.
I am drawing the connections.
In the budget.
I am drawing the connections. I am saying today.
What is the current expenditure?
No, you are not willing to look at the real perspective. No, Prasenjit, you are not looking at the reality of your own country. In your own country, if you stop looking at it in a skewed way, if in your own country, and my question is to Rashid Kidwai, unemployment has risen 10+% in the last 2 years. People are getting unemployed and losing jobs. I lost the link there with Rashid. People are losing jobs, Rashid Kidwai, and you want to go ahead with this kind of profligacy?
Yeah.
Will people forgive you for this?
I don't know. The problem is that average congressman doesn't understand economics.
So what? Why should I suffer because of it?
Political parties are absolutely dishonest. You look at look at BJP. Why is BJP not opposing food security bill? If Mr. Narendra Modi is all powerful, BJP should oppose it in parliament. They are not opposing it. You see, in Chhattisgarh they are doing it. Food at various kind of subsidies are given by everybody. Shivraj Singh Chauhan is giving it. Everybody is giving free power. So the whole idea of economic management is quite alien to political class. This is a cold reality. Now, what is Sonia Gandhi trying to do? No, I'm not. I'm just explaining. I'm not defending Congress Party. I'm explaining. Sonia Gandhi. What is Sonia Gandhi's motto? Sonia Gandhi's motto is economic right, social left. Let there be money.
No. That's not Sonia Gandhi's motto. That's not Sonia Gandhi's motto.
Food is a very powerful weapon.
No, that's not Sonia Gandhi's motto. I remember Chintan Shivir of January 2013. I'd like to remind Bhakta Charan Das. Bhakta Charan Das, Congress Party said, we are the party committed to science, technology, inclusive innovation, jobs and creating growth for the youth of India. Tell me, Bhakta Charan Das, I'm taking the first caller.
Last year, who cleared FDI in retail?
I'm taking the first caller. That same youth of India will ask you,
yes,
am I expected to live?
It has been Mr. Arnab, it has been the motto of the UPA government, and UPA government is striving its best to deliver this. But at the same time, the effect of the global economy, the downtrend system of the global economy is there. Who can deny that system?
So ridiculous.
And
Piyush Goyal countering you. Counter from Piyush Goyal. Piyush Goyal.
Ridiculous.
Piyush Goyal.
Arnab, just 3-4 things. This government, when they don't find any other excuse, earlier it used to be the Pakistan hand, now it is the global factors, but the fact is the entire collapse of Indian economy is because of the Congress hand and nobody else. After all, no global factors are responsible for 7 lakh crores of projects being stuck in different stages of approval. Foreign hand is not responsible for interministerial turf wars or for the huge corruption scams that one after the other this government is inflicting on the nation. The fact is, we are for genuine food security. Even the Supreme Court, the World Bank and their own planning commission has complimented Gujarat and Chhattisgarh for the very effective implementation of the PDS model. We don't give 25 kilos like the Congress is proposing. We give 35 kilos and the total, can I complete, gentlemen? I've listened patiently to all your comments.
No, but why is BJP not
Bhakta Charan Das ji, I listened patiently to you. I can also attack you directly while you are speaking. Arnab, the Chhattisgarh model of PDS, which has come in for widespread acclaim all over the World Bank, the Supreme Court, the Planning Commission, we spend only 1,200 crores a year and we give food security to 2.5 crore people.
But Piyush Goyal,
the nation has 120 crore people.
But Piyush Goyal,
we could have provided food security effectively done.
Piyush Goyal, why I feel
at half the value what this government is talking
Piyush Goyal, you're dodging something. You're dodging something. And tonight, one of our panelists has asked you clearly.
I'm not dodging anything. I'm saying we had the right model. If only they had learned the lessons from Gujarat and Chhattisgarh,
you have the right model.
We could have provided 35 kgs against 25.
You have the right model. No, you have the right model and you have the right argument. But do you have the political courage, Mr. Piyush Goyal, to question the economic feasibility of the food security bill? Why speak about the implication for states? Why does Narendra Modi not speak about the implications for the economy? He likes to talk the economic language. Why is he not talking about the implications for the economy?
But that's exactly what Narendra Modi has raised in this letter. He has said that when the government is saying poverty is coming down, Today, of course, Bhakta Charan Das has acknowledged that poverty has not come down.
No, he's not said that.
Under the UPA, finally we've heard their spokesperson say that. But the Narendra Modi has raised the same thing in this letter, which I'm sure you have read, that which government first sets 81 crores as a target without setting eligibility criteria. Even the parliamentary standing committee said, let's have eligibility criteria.
No, I'm asking you.
Second,
what am I asking?
Then why 81 crores?
Thursday will you oppose it?
What am I? Yeah, then will you oppose it? Will you oppose it on Thursday then?
We are asking for amendments to make it a good bill, sir.
No, why don't you oppose it? It's not about good or bad. You can't afford it.
We are of course opposing it in its present form.
Do you? No.
We are bringing in the amendments which will improve the bill.
It's not about form. The question I asked you was about courage. I am saying you don't have the money now. You acknowledge we don't have the money, but you won't oppose it. So you want to keep one foot on the right, one foot on the left.
I just showed you, Arnab. Arnab, I just told you, without corruption, you can give food security for to the poor.
No, one second. I wish like you there was no corruption, but there is corruption. You're avoiding my question. Rashid Kidwai putting a counter to you.
Rashid Kidwai away the money in corruption.
Putting a counter.
See, just now Bhakta Charan Das said 80,000 crores is available.
Well, I've understood your point of view. I am saying if it is so bad, if it's a bad piece of legislation, why are you supporting it? You can block it very easily in both houses of parliament.
I just explained to you, so don't seem to understand English. I just said we are not supporting it in its present form. We want the correct amendments which we have already given our notice for amendments in the Lok Sabha.
You are moving amendments.
Counter.
What government?
Counter. Two hands go up.
Is ready to accept your amendments.
Two hands going up. Meghnad Desai, go to you, and then I'm taking the first caller. Lots of callers. So the whole country is very much involved in this debate. Meghnad Desai, who are you rebutting?
Since all parties are supporting this food security bill, including BJP, they need to explain to the people how they are going to pay for it.
Yeah,
there is
not
enough money to do this. And BJP and every other party has to say what they will cut by way of 125 lakh crore expenditure under which budget, so that the food security bill will not
Prasenjit Bose says a small amount.
Problem.
Prasenjit Bose says a small amount. Prasenjit Bose says a small amount.
Arnab, let me say
it is not a small amount.
I think that anybody who are expecting, any economist or any analyst who is expecting political parties in an electoral democracy to oppose a food security legislation in a country which has the highest concentration of hunger-stricken population in the entire world is barking up the wrong
So
tree.
why did they discover it now?
How do you expect?
No, one second, Prasenjit, let me tell you. Prasenjit, why they discovered it now?
What were they doing for 60 years?
What were they doing? Yeah, exactly. What were they doing for 67 years?
Congress has been power for 60
you asked that question.
No, that's not the question.
I am saying you are asking the wrong question.
No, I am asking.
You asked that question. What are you doing about it for so long?
No, Prasenjit.
But don't oppose food security.
Prasenjit Bose,
why are you opposing food security?
Prasenjit Bose, what I am asking is that it's great idea, bad timing. Sorry. Great idea, terrible timing.
Arnab,
fine.
Terrible timing.
Fine. So you say that, but you are opposing food security legislation per se.
I am saying great idea, terrible timing. I've been saying this from the start. There's a time for everything.
Hungry people to have more food.
There is a time for everything. There is a time for everything. This is not that time. This is like going.
So you attack the timing.
Of course I'm attacking the timing.
Opportunism, not only of the Congress.
I must apologize. I'm going to the first caller.
Have the cake and eat it too.
Post caller who's been holding for more than 15 minutes, and therefore I always defer to the viewers. For our panelists. Our first caller today is Rajesh Arora, and I think you're calling from Jaipur. Rajesh, good evening, and are you asking a question or making a comment?
Good evening, Arnab.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
Yes, very much so.
Is it shameful, Arnab, that even after 67 years of independence, the Congress still believes that this much of people are not able to earn two times a meal? Why not this much of amount being spent on creating jobs so that the people earn and buy food?
Okay, good question.
Why the government has waken up during the election time? Why not 9 years back?
Superb question. Rajesh Arora, I always say the viewer asks the best question, and that proves it. Bhakta Charan Das, that question came from Jaipur, and it wasn't from the BJP, but from a Newshour viewer. Why don't you answer to him?
That is why Government of India brought Mahatma Gandhi Narega, and large-scale rural employment is there. And poor people are empowered to purchase their commodity, their materials, and they are having a good life at this moment. But still then there is poverty situation. We must bring our people capable to the extent of what you say at the middle class level.
Rebut from JDU. JDU rebutting you. JDU's turn to rebut. Pawan Verma, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that while food security is a laudable goal, I agree with your caller that we need to create the employment and create income levels. Why is it, I ask you? And all parties need to answer this. Agriculture has been the most neglected sector of our economy, growing still at the Hindu rate of 2 to 3% per year. Today you need to get a quantum boost in the productivity of agriculture, because otherwise subsidies, however well-intentioned, are not going to be able to deliver.
See, this is nothing but...
For instance, in Bihar, I can tell you, without being partisan on this, in the last 2 financial years, paddy cultivation by itself has grown by 55%.
No, don't advertise. Don't advertise the Bihar government. No, I know you don't miss any opportunity to advertise the Bihar government, but I won't let you do that on the news hour tonight.
Beyond partisan politics.
What's it?
Beyond partisan politics.
Yeah, Arnab, just to inform your viewers that in the NDA regime from 2000 to 2005, 6 crore new jobs were created, employment opportunities. Whereas in the first 5 years of UPA, the so-called high growth years, only 27 lakh jobs were created. This government believes in entitlement and not empowering the people.
I throw a challenge at you too, Piyush Goyal.
Pawan Verma's knowledge,
Piyush Goyal.
Shivraj Singh's government is giving double-digit agricultural growth.
Your time, Mahatma Gandhi,
you are all advertising. Why are you making it? Why are you making about this state government and that? No, I'm asking Piyush Goyal. Piyush Goyal has no answer to one question of mine. I am going to the next caller, and after that, Piyush Goyal has no answer to one question of mine.
Ask me any question, Arnab. Which is the one I don't have an answer?
You won't have an answer to this one. Because, you know, the problem...
Let me know.
And don't mind, I'll be straight. I think there's a hypocrisy in the BJP argument. Because you are harping on inflation, price rise, you are using it as a major plank against the UPA government, and yet you are not willing to question the impact that the food security bill will have on inflation, the impact it is going to have on the minimum support price and inflation, on vegetable prices. You are not taking a position on the reality that this food security bill will make for a large number of people in this country food, vegetable prices and living very expensive. It's not...
That's exactly what Mr. Modi has written. I wish you had read Mr.
No, but you are not against the bill. You are not against the bill, the corpus of money that has to be spent on subsidizing it.
Why, Arnab, that's what he has said. Why have you set the eligibility criteria first? Why have you straight away said 80 crore people? On the one hand, you're claiming poverty has come down. Now Bhakta Charan Das has finally let the cat out of the bag.
I think
when he says that poverty actually hasn't come down, I think they're all swimming.
Well, you know, I have never believed. I have never believed poverty coming down statistics on Times Now. I have never believed poverty coming down statistics on Times Now. I have never believed. I have always said this is being seen by many people as an electoral ploy ahead of the elections. Our next caller is Debashish Datta, is calling from Assam. Mr. Datta, good evening. Arnab here. Who's your question to? Are you putting a question or making a comment? Mr. Datta, why don't you reduce the volume of your television set? Otherwise, we won't be able to hear you. Okay, lost the line with Mr. Datta. Let the debate continue. I'm going to take the next caller. No, Lord Desai. Lord Desai, do you have any doubt this is just an electoral ploy?
I think your first questioner raised an absolutely crucial point, that if you want to give people security, you give them income security by creating employment. under UPA 2 for the last 5 years, not a single new job has been created, no net rise in employment. And NREGA is not an employment scheme. It is a scheme to partially subsidize one member of a family for at most 100 hours a year. And that is not actually employment creation. You have to create genuine employment and you have to create productivity in the economy.
Bhakta Charan Das.
To Congress is, Congress has been in power for 50 out of 60 years. Why is there so much poverty?
Well, why is there so much poverty? Why is there so much? Why is there rising unemployment? Why is there rising inflation? And is the food security bill an answer for it? No, you see, Bhakta Charan Das, you have a lot to answer for, but one more.
Has been in power. The Congress has been in power. That is why the nation, India, is one of the third powerful nation in the world.
That's how the nation is
that
poor.
You cannot say the India has developed like anything. India has developed like anything. To what extent we have made infrastructure at the urban and the rural India. You must know about the scenario. At the same time, the poverty is also there.
Why is there so much poverty?
Yes, at the same time,
why is there so much poverty?
You take birth in a poor family, then only you will understand what poverty is.
Why do 80 crores have to be
You
fed?
must take once a chance to take a birth in a poor family. Then only understand. You can understand.
Why do 80 crore people have to be fed?
So what is the progress, Bhakta Charan Das ji? You are claiming progress under Congress rule. And here you are saying you can't take a bath also.
We want to
After 71 se garibi hatane wale the.
To make them capable.
Sir, prices of onions, 1 minute, prices of onions went up, doubled in July. Okay, prices of onions are up 145% over a year-on-year basis. Sir, allow me, sir. I know.
It is also very heavy.
Sir, I know that prices of onions are a touchy subject for you. They are a touchy subject for me also. Right? And for all people, when we go and see prices of onions go up 145% on a year-on-year basis, let me tell you, a lot of the people having onions are not exactly billionaires, Mr. Bhakta Charan Das. Fuel and power prices have gone up 11.31% in July, as against 7.42% in June. So fuel, power and onions are becoming unaffordable. I cannot spend enough today on education as a member of the middle class. People cannot afford food. And you are saying today it's also time for the same middle class to tighten its purse strings a little more because you want to win the election on the basis of the food security bill? You think this is going to cover up for everything, Mr. Bhakta Charan Das? That's only the question that I'm asking you today. Are you willing to revisit?
Mr. Arnab,
why don't you defer it by a year till the economy stabilizes?
Mr. Arnab, I think I have visited my nation perfectly.
So,
I would advise you once to take birth in a poor family, then only you will understand what the situation in the rural India is.
Mr. Bhakta Charan Das, Mr. Bhakta Charan Das, Mr. Bhakta Charan Das, Mr. Bhakta Charan Das, make whatever personal allegation and accusation and comment that you want to make. But I tell you today that I am absolutely in touch with the reality of this country. I am not among those journalists. I am not among those journalists. I am not among those journalists and editors. I am not among the journalists and editors who live in ivory towers. No, Mr. Bhakta Charan Das. I am not differentiating the middle class and the poor class. But I am saying here to you today.
No, you are.
Anybody, 1 second, Prasenjit. Anybody who asks you a question, that why don't you defer the food bill by a year or two? Let the economy stabilize. Let us be in a more solid position.
It has been deferred for 4 years. It has been deferred for 4 years.
How did you remember it before?
No. And the food bill is in the last phase.
Why did you not get so excited last year?
We did it. Last time we brought the bill, but last time it could not be passed because of the disturbance by the BJP.
You push it on the BJP. Okay. He's accused the BJP there. Our next caller, Mr. Bhakta Charan Das. Mr. Bhakta Charan Das, who's putting up a spirited defense of the Congress party, is pushing the food bill through. Mr. Bhakta Charan Das, our next caller. Our next caller is Mr. Rai from Kolkata. Mr. Rai, good evening. Where do you stand on this debate? Is this the right time for the food bill?
Good evening, Mr. Arnab Goswami. I am Pravir Rai from Kolkata.
Yes.
May I ask to my honorable Congress spokesperson that when the inflation is at what condition and the unemployment is biting the young generation, industrial growth is downtrend. Petrol prices and essential commodities prices are going up. People are getting pink slips. Why not to focus on this problem to strengthen our economy rather than introducing the food security bill, which has no economic feasibility? Is it for the election? Is that the door? Why they have not introduced this bill earlier? What they are doing for the young generation who are unemployed and loitering on the road?
There you are. This is
whom they are going to provide. What are they going to provide to them? Please, honorable members, give me the reply.
Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai puts an incisive question, and from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to say this. These kind of questions just prove to me how privileged we are to be broadcasting the news hour to such an aware audience, which puts us precise questions. Our viewer from Kolkata asked you, Bhakta Charan Das, the timing. The same point I made to Prasenjit Bose. You remember this now? Why are you so desperate to push it now?
I know, Arnab. For the poor men, the time would never come, Arnab.
Sir, now you're dodging it now, sir. Now you're dodging the questions.
I know.
You're dodging it now, sir. You didn't remember. Why did it not come?
Waiting since 1971 when गरीबी हटने वाली थी. वो 71 से उसको institutionalize कर दिया poverty को.
One more caller. Mr. Hargun is calling from New Delhi. Mr. Hargun, good evening. This is Arnab Goswami here. What's the point you're making?
Well, my question is to Lord Meghnad Desai, because he is economist and he is aware of the fact right now.
Yes.
So my question is, well, we all heard about the Fed tapering, which about to start from maybe September or October. Our finance minister or the prime minister is not aware that they are going to taper this down. Another thing which is there, which is called implication of CPI or WPI index, after the changes in the gas prices from 1st April 2014. So what implication would be there? Today we are standing at 11.81%, which will going to get adjusted, which I'm talking about the CPI inflation numbers, which will be there, I think, adjusted by this week or maybe next week. So it will go anyways above 11.82 to 12 or 13%. So how will these people going to manage these mess which they are creating with the food security bill per se?
So your basic point is the consequences of such profligacy will be deep and long lasting at a time like this. Professor Desai, we'll take a couple of more callers. Yes, please, Professor Desai.
It's very simple. The problem is that even if you wanted to do this food security, which I don't think they should, there is no urgency in doing it now.
Yeah.
You can say that we will only do food security when the rupee is back above 60 rupees to the dollar.
But you see, that's where politics comes in.
Why don't you make a promise like that?
Because that's where politics comes in.
If you want to eliminate deficit, you can stop all the wasting on Colgate and things like that.
That's where I think it's a practical thing. Even Prasenjit backs it. Prasenjit, you back that? That you can defer it by a year or two till your economic house is in a better condition. You don't need to capitalize on the fact that the Achilles heel of all parties, including the BJP at this point of time, is that they cannot oppose the food bill. You cannot turn that Achilles heel of the BJP into bad economics and good politics. Yes, Prasenjit.
I agree with the political critique of the timing. I completely has unduly, it delayed this bill. Now they are using it in a most petty and cynical manner to get votes in the elections after, doing a complete mess of governance over the past 4-5 years. So I completely agree that this way of opportunistically bringing this bill and, creating a debate which is so divisive on an issue on which otherwise people, I remember that when the Rural Employment Guarantee Act was passed, every political party supported it. But they are doing it on the eve of the elections. They are dividing the entire polity on these lines.
But where do we have the capacity, Prasenjit?
Let me just finish.
Prasenjit, we don't have a capacity. We have the capacity for such massive agricultural production and procurement. Do we have the capacity?
Or not? I am expressing my view. You may not agree with me, but I am expressing my views to you as an economist myself, that I think you are being alarmist Lord Desai is being alarmist. This food security legislation does not entail additional expenditure, which is going to lead to an additional mess in our country.
Prasenjit,
I think we are in a mess anyway.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean we increase. That doesn't mean we increase the mess.
That the government has been following, the policy prescriptions the government has been following. That is
couple of more callers. Couple of more callers.
Capital outflows.
Couple of more callers. Couple of more callers.
What has food security bill got to do with the current account deficit?
Couple of more callers. Piyush Goyal.
What has food security got to do with that?
Not a couple of more callers. Piyush Goyal, 20-second rebut.
The middle class against food security, I don't think that there is any economic rationale behind.
One sec. Piyush, 20-second rebut. Yes.
Yeah. See, please try to appreciate. Even in Chhattisgarh, we give 35 kilos of grain at 1 rupee. And our total cost is 1,200 crores, as I just said. So this could have been achieved through the PDS mechanism, through Panchayati Raj, which at one point of time was Congress's main plank, if it was implemented properly. But now look what the Congress government does. The Delhi State Civil Supplies Corporation, instead of running fair price shops, runs one fair price shop in President's Estate and runs 112 liquor vents. They're running 112 liquor vents.
I want to know.
So their whole scheme of distribution is flawed and full of corruption.
Well, watch it. One caller.
Gujarat Chhattisgarh model, we could have implemented this within the existing budget and reached the poor with food grain.
Talk about economics, says Meghnad Desai. One caller is Salim calling in.
About economics. 60,000 crore में सब गरीब को पेट भर खाना दे सकते थे.
Piyush Goyal, 1 minute. Salim from Vadodara. Good evening, Mr. Salim. Good evening. Arnab here.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Who's your question to? Who's your question to, Mr. Salim?
Sir, my question is very specific to the Congress spokesperson. That when we are having so much food grain, which is getting rotten up in our Food Corporation of India, why we are not ready to reduce the price and give it to the people in the retail market so that the middle class people get benefited out of that and our inflation can go down, number one. Number two, where is the PDS system? We are not having the proper PDS system. How we are going to arrange this distribution of the food security bill to the poor people? Why we are not able to concentrate on increasing the employment for the youth?
Solid points. Answer, please, Mr. Das.
Yes, the food stock is there. It cannot be freely distributed. That everybody must work and they get some remuneration, and that is why they are getting. Government of India is giving 23 rupees subsidy, and state governments are giving. Some state governments are giving 3 rupees, 5 rupees, and they are giving. Some state giving free of cost, and some states are giving at 1 rupee.
Well, Mr. Reddy is calling in.
That is a different thing.
Mr. Reddy is watching the Newshour in Belgium. He is calling in from Belgium. Mr. Reddy, actually, good afternoon. You're watching in Belgium. I presume it's still, afternoon there. Good afternoon. And who's your question to?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Arnab Goswami. I admire that. Actually, I want to ask the Congress person, really, it's very pity that, the rupee has gone down so much, and I would like to ask him, for example, if I have the money, I can give it. If there is no money, then how can they give it? They have to compromise on other things. So there is no development. It will be ceasing. So
I don't think we have reached to that point. I don't think the nation has not reached to that point to meet this additional expenditure of 40,000 crores. And the nation is not going to fall down. The budget, with a budget of 16,65,000 crore, I don't think this is I think it is a very peanut. And why you are saying like this?
They are fooling the people. Then they are fooling the people. They are not giving them anything new. That means the old budget only they are repackaging and probably adding a little corruption to it and making it old wine in a new bottle.
No, I think
that's what Bhakta Charan Das just said.
I know, brother Piyush, your party is not involved in corruption, I know.
You know that, thank you for acknowledging it. We don't do the scams every day the way the Congress has done. We ran a good government for 6 years, but there was no scam in our government.
After one government felt like anything, and you still think that you are proud of. Wow.
Mr. Bhaktacharya Das, what kind of argument?
The nation has watched your state government and your NDA government.
No, Mr. Bhaktacharya Das, what kind of argument is this? I'm beginning to get increasingly concerned. You do scams, I do scams. You're corrupt, I'm corrupt, you lose files. No. You lose. Your files are missing. Your Colgate files are missing. My Colgate files are missing. You messed it up. I'll mess it up. I don't think messing up the economy is the right of a political class. So read any newspaper today in the world, and what are they telling you? There are less and less reasons for people to invest in India. Please think about it, Mr. Bhaktacharya Das.
That is the situation the BJP had started deliberately to destabilize the nation in the last 2 years.
Whatever. Your political fight is your political fight. I should not suffer. The people of the country cannot suffer because you're fighting. You can't push your reform bills through.
We are not fighting. We are raising the people's voice against corruption.
Sir, the country's economy is sinking.
People of the nation are part and parcel of the system.
Yes, and the people
they are involved in the system.
Yes, and that's why they are asking you today. Restore the system to health. Pawan Verma, this is a very disturbing line of argument we are seeing today, but I think the phone calls also reflect something. All the phone calls today have been extremely cynical of the food security bill. Now, the Congress can say this is, this is a urban viewer of Newshour who doesn't quite matter, who's not our vote bank. But Mr. Bhaktacharya Das, they too are citizens of this country. They too have a voice.
Just 2 points, Arnab. Just 2 points, Arnab.
I never said that. Every citizen, he may be urban or rural, they have got their say. I am not ignoring their say.
Arnab, just 2 points quickly. I began this debate by saying that beyond this kind of political acrimony where, as you yourself put it, you did this wrong, I did this wrong, I think this entire discussion should focus on the fact that has the functioning of democracy become antithetical to the imperatives of governance. Because there is no point name calling endlessly. The entire economy, if it grows at 5%, there's already been a contraction of 20% in the job market. The second point is that this polarity between middle class and those below it cannot be sustained beyond a point. If 30% of India remains hungry today, it's an illusion that the middle class can create an island for itself to prosper. Except in fantasy, you can't build a first floor without a foundation. So there is a holistic need to relook at governance and deliveries where economy is concerned.
I also worry tomorrow that if there is great volatility in the global markets, the government keeps saying, Rashid Kidwai, that there's volatility in global markets because of global factors, our economy is going down. Tomorrow, God forbid, if there is a bad monsoon, for example. I'm just saying this out. I'm not some hardcore critic of the food bill as Prasenjit makes me out to be. All I'm saying is if there is a bad monsoon, and we have to import food grains, if there is that kind of a situation, what impact will that have on the economy? Have we factored all this in? Rashid Kidwai, is the government still determined to push it through come what may?
Yes, Adab, that is what I am trying to explain. Mr. Bhaktacharya Das is not saying a lot of things which he should have been saying. See, this was not an easy decision for Congress party to take. There were a lot of deliberations within Congress, within UPA, and then they arrived at it because they are desperate. Their image is very bad. There is a crisis of confidence. There are all sorts of problems that this government is facing. Now they are desperate to win because unfortunately in politics the only way is criteria is victory, and that is what would take them forward. So they have come to this conclusion. Sonia Gandhi is taking a huge gamble. She doesn't like to take gamble, but this time she is doing that. But what baffles me most is why is Samajwadi Party, BSP, BJP, all other parties which are not really stakeholders, why are they supporting such a bad piece of legislation?
Well, I think the BJP. I think BJP is caught in a bind, you see, because they don't want to support the bill, but they can't be seen opposing the bill. They don't want to support the bill, but they can't be seen.
Put the right questions before the government. We are asking the government to respond. If poverty has come down, why the number of beneficiaries is 81 crores? They have asked the question if 165 grams gives 500 calories to a person, how are you actually giving him food security? And for the balance, at what price, as you rightly pointed out? Imported grains, at what price will they have to procure?
So the question only is this, as one of the viewers, as one of the viewers put it today, if a person wants to help somebody else by transfusing blood, the first thing you do is check whether the person is healthy. If a person is himself injured, you don't transfuse blood from an injured or diseased person into another person. And I think that's the big challenge. That's what one of our Newshour viewers has written to me. That the big challenge is that the Indian economy today is injured. And to be expecting an injured Indian economy, to be bleeding itself more, I don't know whether it's the right thing. And I put this question with all earnestness to all Newshour viewers. Do you think this is the right time to be pushing this bill? I'd like to hear from you. Thank you to each and every one of our panelists for joining me on debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight.